Yes, guys, so we finally made it. We are finally back again for another reaction on this Brbptv, Be Real, Be Positive television. This is actually the second reaction for today. The previous one is actually the Mr. Leaks reaction, guys. You can check that link out in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. And of course, with that said, guys, I do appreciate you guys for definitely tuning in to another Vibrations. And of course, definitely give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. Smash that thumbs up button or smash that like button. I would appreciate that right there. And then helping the algorithm to push your videos further and further out there. So please definitely smash that like button right there. Anyways, guys, before I say that right there, let's get into the Vibrations for today. Of course, this is none other than the deceased Ferdina'S brother, I believe it is, and he has a number of things to say when it comes down to the situation. Now, guys, I'm gonna break down the whole situation. This video is pretty much about the voice note circulating. I think it's on the basis of what the Ward 8 had to say, and I'm gonna try my best to understand. I'm gonna break down the whole thing, brothers and sisters. Anyways, the brother is stating right there, Sai, what is wrong with some of you in this country? Is there no longer any decency or humanity in this place? I tend to ask myself that question from time to time when it comes down to the understanding of what exactly is taking place in Dominica. But of course, he says, okay, listen, Ferdinand didn't like Roro, so I'm not going to energize one in her name. But make no mistake, I will not allow anyone or any institution or any interest to disrespect, I guess, of any interest to disrespect her name or her legacy. I have in my possession an audio recording of an unprofessional, unsavory, and derogatory commentary from someone who appears to be a hospital staff member because of their intimate knowledge of my sister's stay at the hospital and a medical condition and treatment. I need that person identified, and this individual wants them to be fired, and a public apology from the hospital administration to our family. I'm requesting that this, under the good faith assumption that this is not an official hospital position and this is simply a rogue employee who needs to bear the full responsibility of her actions. If I have the recording, you should too, because the recording was everywhere, brothers and sisters. You should too, and if not, you could surely find it. I am doing this for Ferdina'S way. Please do not make me resort to doing things my way. This is what their brother, from my understanding, has to say in that regard. Of course, like I mentioned on the recording, I had to pretty much edit out a number of things because I think certain parts of the video went out of loop. It was kind of insane what the person was saying, and I'll give my views on this a bit more. But this is what some other individuals have to say on social media when it comes on to that same voice note right there.
You know, everybody have their way of life and their way of doing things, you check? You understand? If you're working in a place, in an institution, especially healthcare, well, I myself, Gaza, if I have cancer, I'll have to die of it, Gaza. Because you see, me, I will not go in them place, Dominica, you know. Boy, you're mad, man.
Why?
Not
Why?
the way I and some of them nurses and them talking, now why?
This is the point that I was stating in the video yesterday on the basis of the voice note. Not in respective to what the Ward 8 was stating on Ferdina'S personally, but within that very voice note had vital information, brothers and sisters. How she was treated in the hospital. What was happening to her where her partner or whoever it was had to come in and see the state she was in and couldn't believe that that was a state right there. So I understand the sentiment of what she's saying. If I have to go to the hospital and this is the kind of treatment I am getting, and keep in mind, this is not the first time this has happened. I haven't mentioned Alwyn Bully. I mentioned the kind of treatment you get. I mentioned a few other people. One of my friends, a number of doctors came down to Dominica. They are family members in Dominica and nurses as well. And they came down and the family was in the hospital, and the kind of conditions that they saw the patients, which means there's some sort of neglect taking place in the hospital. And that was the key point of that voice note that I took. Where the individual was talking about the sentiment of what she was doing, what certain things should not have been said at all. In fact, I believe it should have been the lover, because if you work in the hospital, there should be some sort of patient confidentiality. Now, I'm sure that this individual trusted somebody, and in trusting somebody, the person wanted to find out what was going on. And in finding out what was going on, the person sent a voice to that person in confidentiality, saying what was going on, this kind of things there. And then that person then shared the voice note. I think Tazi Tazi made a statement in that regard. We'll get back to this person in a moment. But listen to what Tazi says.
Always told you all, those of you who think my friend, my best friend, my good friend, every best friend have a better friend. Always know that. The videos and the voice notes, ease up on that. Ease up on that. Stop sending voice note and videos for people and saying my friend that there and my secret safe. Your secret is not safe.
Yeah, sometimes you cannot trust people, brothers and sisters, on the basis of that person then sharing your secret with their best friend. And I think that's what happened when it comes onto that video. Now, keep in mind, I don't think that the Ward 8 should definitely have sent out any information in that regard. But I believe the Ward 8 wanted to trust somebody or felt like that person wanted some information. But it's not just in just say, okay, you know, this and that happened. But it's in the way that the person stated it as well. That was a shocking part to me right there. It's like, and brothers and sisters, when you understand the mind, you see sometimes certain people, when you are in certain positions and you are like a public figure in the place, and certain times somebody might not know you, but because they see you as a public figure, it seems like they see you as a threat of somehow. So when you come in and there's something that has happened to you that is supposed to be your private business and whatnot, and that person sees something happen to you and it goes out there, then that person with themselves feel like they finally have an up on that person. That's the kind of sentiment. Like, there's a psychological thing or terminology for that. I can't remember what his name. But you feel threatened by that person, not necessarily, you know, fearful, but threatened in terms of the person's position. And as a result of something happening to that person, you then feel like you have the upper hand, especially when certain things were going on in that regard. And you feel like, hey, I can finally release, and oh my goodness, this and that. And the way that the person was saying it was really, really shocking right there. This is why I know when I did the video, I had to pretty much edit out certain parts I found this person was going too overboard with. And then the parts that actually I wanted to point out where it seems like there was some sort of neglect in the hospital, I had to point that out right there. So it is very interesting when it comes down to this situation right there. The voice note, I think that information should have been shared by the partner who saw and experienced, you know that thing, instead of the person talking, and with the possibility of that person even most likely ended up losing their jobs in these hard economic times. I'm sure that that person did not expect for that voice note to go out all over the place. But this is a public figure. I'll get into another thing right there, but let's continue listening to this girl.
I rather die, guys.
Because of the treatment of the hospital.
When you sit down and you think about somebody like that, you understand me? Somebody like Ferdina'S, you understand?
Positions that she held, and she was treated like that.
I don't even know Ferdina'S to do anybody no ill will. You check?
The same thing they were saying about Alwyn. Alwyn was a nice guy and how he was treated. I don't know.
So I don't know why would you just look down on somebody in an area in a time like that, Gaza. Boy, anybody can see Gaza. So when you can't do anything like that goes. Boy, the person don't even have to relate it to you for you to see. Like, yeah, you know, any person is such a nice person. You check, because when you see, you go by flow. You understand? Ferdina'S so irate. You check. Always have a big smile. It's in a nice space, Steve. You check. You understand? Such a jovial person, and then always just, boy.
Well, people don't really care about whether you're jovial or not, you know, brothers and sisters. Once you're a public figure, trust me. Oh, not even public figure. Once you're on social media, brothers and sisters, and something happened to you, it going like wildfire, you know. I remember when this situation happened to me when I was taken to the headquarters in Roseau. Right Africa that rich, you know. Right Africa that rich, of people saying all sorts of things. I'm part of a group, and the reason why I ended up knowing this is because when I went to the group, I was doing something and I went to the group and I saw they had the posts, what do you call that again? The article. Because one of the individuals know me, but the individual doesn't know anybody else. So how on earth did that happen to come about? Maybe some links or whatnot, social media or whatnot, and I ended up by them, and they ended up seeing that stuff and things. So this people saying strange and all kind of weird false stuff, especially false stuff, does spread like wildfire. People like this kind of things. They like that raw kind of vibe. But they're not realizing, hey guys, this is what happened. Something needs to be done in that regard. Don't spread the voice. Edit it out. Edit out the crazy parts and leave the part where she's actually talking about the hospital involvement. Even though I don't think that she should have put out any voice, no, because she's a person who works in the medical field, in the healthcare field. But at the end of the day, this information is still vital. Not the part where she was saying that was crazy. The information of what happened or what transpired as a result of what seems to have been neglect of her, where the partner came in and, you know, all sorts of things. They were not checking her in that regard. Remember, she was in recovery mode. She was in recovery mode, brothers and sisters, when all this transpired, which was the insane part for me. So although yes, the voice note went out there, and yes, you say she shouldn't be and whatnot, but what transpired, especially when there was a need of certain things that she would have needed, whether it be the missing of antibiotics or morphine or whatever it is, brothers and sisters, that she would have need these things in the hospital for her to be, you know, much better. But there seems to have been some neglect based on that very voice note right there. But she shouldn't have said this crazy or the crazy stuff that she was saying. I mean, it definitely sounded like she hated her. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely sounded like that this word it hated the woman for whatever reason. I don't know. Sometimes people just hate you for no reason. People just hate me too, you know. I don't care, but people just hate you for no reason.
And then only watching me and telling me, because I also feel sorry for all you when you see the government doing all of them things there. Boy, all that no heart, boy.
And I'm thinking, what she's saying, I'm thinking on both sides. The nurses, you know, not doing their jobs, or not necessarily doing it heartily, you know. Hey, I do my job, I check you, okay, bow, that's it. I don't need to come and check you again. Maybe that's how they're thinking. Based on the salary that they're getting. They're not getting adequate salaries, so they'll say, in Dominica, that is what it have, that is what I take in, and so forth and so. Brothers and sisters, this is one of the reasons why I always believe that people who have a passion for certain things should be in positions. People who do not have a passion for it should not be in these positions. Why? Because it's going to affect the people. When people tend to go to certain positions or want to have a certain career path because of the money value, not necessarily what they can add to it, then these people should not be in the positions in the first place. Because even when the money is not there, brothers and sisters, at least the people care about people too enough to do certain things. But this is the culture in the hospital that we've been hearing. Neglect. Not even just in the hospital, when there was quarantine as well. A number of persons we hear passed away as a result of neglect. Or the patients inside quarantine saying, hey, they need help. That person need help. Patients inside the quarantine have to be helping other patients because they realizing, alas, that sounds like a culture to me. I could be wrong. Anyways, brothers and sisters, let me move on. Right, on the basis of this on this understanding, this is what an individual pretty much sent out right there. Anyone working in an environment where patient information is supposed to be protected and should sign some sort of type of confidentiality agreement and understand that violating the agreement is a criminal act punishable by law. They feel free to violate people's privacy because there is no accountability. To me, the other day, they didn't make individuals sign certain things now. That's why I stated that if anybody should have brought out the information, should have been the person who saw her in a particular state. Anyways, number two, the way this woman talked about Ferdina'S. Yes. She sounded very deliberate and envy. Yes. Yes, brothers and sisters, that's exactly what I was saying. She sounded like she hated the woman for whatever reason, I don't know. But it could have been based on the psychology aspect. That person is in public position. Hey, that person probably not taking care of themselves. So let me just rat out the person. But I'm sure that person wasn't thinking, hey, if I sound the voice on it doesn't go everywhere. Maybe this person was talking to their friend and they, you know, just releasing their tension or whatever on the friend. And the friend say, what? Let me share that, and whoop, it go all over the place. So it sounded like that, exactly. Sounded very deliberate and envious with an agenda to drag her name through the mud. Yeah, I got that sentiment. The person who started forwarding the messages should also receive equal punishment right there. Equal punishment for forwarding. That don't make any sense at all in that regard. People share all kind of stuff, whether it's good or bad. People mainly share bad stuff. So every bad thing people share, they should be punished as a result of that. No, they shouldn't. Sometimes bad press is good press, brothers and sisters. Keep that in mind. But not in that regard, right there. At least more people getting to know about the situation. And hopefully, I hope from this whole kind of hoopla that something is done in the hospital. That is my main focus right there. Because you never know, one day it could be me that in that hospital, brothers and sisters. And people going to talk, people must talk. I mean, come on. People will talk. When you're in the public's eye and something go wrong, people are going to talk, That is the sad part of it. It has its pros and it has its definite cons. I'm sure everybody who's in the public eye has gotten some sort of, some sort of thing. I even remember a particular individual. Let me not say much on that regard. Anyways, the person who started the forwarding message the person who started forwarding the message, I think the individual right there, on the basis of that, I guess the person can forward whatever they want. But I think that the person who got the forwarded message should not have sent it out. Or ask the person, should they send it out? I mean, it makes sense that way, Ask the person if they should send it out. The person said, no, but don't send that out. The word, they probably send that to the person in confidence. But anyways, maybe that is the reason why she delayed her hospital appointment, because of the level of unprofessionalism existing amongst healthcare professionals. That's one of the things I pretty much stated in the previous reaction a little bit on that regard. And it's not just her. It could have been a number of persons saying, boy, if I go to the hospital, boy, I might not come out the hospital, let me not go. And the only reason why they end up going is when it might even be too late. This is why I always tell people, hey, doesn't matter, go and check your stuff. If you have to take your supplements and all these things. I tell people, 3 things that black people need. Vitamin D is one of the top. The top, brothers and sisters. The reason why we lack vitamin D is because of our skin. White people are able to absorb vitamin D faster than us. So we have to stay out in the sun longer. This is why we can't stay out in the sun much longer than they can. But anyways, that's another story right there. Vitamin D, magnesium is another one, and zinc. So if you want to, brothers and sisters, make sure you get these things, especially if you're using multivitamins to get all your nutrients and stuff. Make sure the multivitamins has these 3 things in there, preferably D3. Okay? All right then. The name of all those involved needs to be published ASAP. Okay, that person was just giving a view. But I agree with number 1 right there. There should be some sort of level of privacy in that regard. I think the best person that should have brought this out should have been the person who saw her in a particular state right there. All right? What is this? Healthcare professionals were blamed by the public for her passing. We have to remember that the lady spoke in defense. Definitely. We brothers and sisters, when it comes down to this kind of situation, the lady was in recovery. The lady said back in the day she couldn't talk. That's why she didn't say nothing much in public. Now that she did the surgeries and all those kind of things there, she was able to now talk. And she was coming up. And then something, really? Until a man came in and saw the state that she was, come on. Healthcare professionals have to be responsible have some responsibility of that. And I'm not just talking about the health aid, the care aid, the health aid. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about generally speaking. I want to up the lady there, and when the nurse or whoever came in and she saw the state that she was in the hospital. She has been there for 2 weeks in the hospital, brothers and sisters. They had to move and isolate her. So there have to be some sort of neglect in that regard. And something needs to be done before it happens to you or your family. That is the point that I took from this voice note, even though she was saying some crazy stuff. And something like she was vexed and angry with that person. Or some people just hate you for no reason. Anyways, spoke in defense workplace and so confident. She also confided in the person or group she sent the voice note to. First of all, she should not have sent the voice note, but she confided in somebody and that person could not have been trusted. It's quite unfortunate that these things still happen, and it's a lesson to all to be careful what we share in public, because it could tarnish your reputation and even get you fired as well. So that is also interesting. People got photos of the lady already and started circulating it already. Shake my head. Sometimes people don't even know if that's the right person. I saw the photo too, I got 2 different types of photos, brothers and sisters. 2 different types of photos. So it cannot be 2. Is one lady that was speaking. So all you sharing photos going there saying who is who. All you don't know. Anyways, people got the photos already of lady anyways. Blah blah blah. In all groups and we know the society we live in. We need to do better than this. Now, JL is also on speaking about this issue as well.
I have a show to do tomorrow with the Queens, and I really wanted to just get myself together, you know, and but then you hear about this nonsense. Like, what kind of people are we? Like,
I'm guessing JL is speaking about the amount of people that were sharing the voice note, because it's one thing where somebody spoke about something that happened and confided in somebody, and that person then shares that to maybe somebody to confide in, and so forth and so forth and so forth. It went out, and this person was spreading the information. The people were sharing the information out there, and it was just going like wildfire. Sometimes people didn't even care. I got that voice note a lot of times, brothers and sisters, a lot of time. I think when I last checked, it was about 15 times I got that voice note, that same voice note, and I got it more times. I even got in it. I got it again today. Twice, I think I got it today. So this voice note is still circulating, brothers and sisters. So this is why I'm thinking she's talking about, why are we like this? Especially somebody who's nice, you know? Why are they doing this? Brothers and sisters, let me tell you something now. You know, they crucified Jesus, right? They crucified Yeshua. They crucify him, brothers and sisters. So if they crucify him, what do you think is going to happen to me and you? The nicest person who has ever lived did miracles to rescue how much people's son and daughter from illnesses. They crucify him. What do you think is going to happen to you and me? Especially people in the public sphere. I know I felt that too. I was watching people say all sorts of strange things about me, and I wonder about me that do that, boy. Oh, that happened then, boy. When people come and say about Chinese, boy, people are easy, that boy. Anyways, let's continue.
Like, what kind of people are we?
People like Roro. It's not just Dominicans, you know. That happens across the Caribbean. I've seen that in St. Kitts. I've seen that in St. Vincent. I've seen that in Jamaica. Boy, I've seen that in the United States. I haven't seen it in the East yet, because I haven't spent much time in the East like that yet. But I've seen it all over. So it's not just a Dominican thing. It's a people thing. Seems like people strive on negativity.
Like,
this is why nasty business make the wrongs like that, and the good songs that we have don't really seem to be making the wrongs, because people like this crazy stuff.
To hurt people's family. What kind of people are we when we don't have the decency to understand that people lose loved ones, that people don't know sometimes how to deal with loss, that we share things like
Well, Jay, let me tell you something now. People share things not on the basis of thinking about other people, you know. People share things because they're checking, boy, look at what happened, that what happened. They're not necessarily thinking of, oh, maybe I shouldn't share this, or maybe I shouldn't share certain things. Not everybody's empathetic to situations, you know. People don't care, especially when it has nothing to do with them. I mean, heck, look at the country. The country go down the drain. It happening to them, but they're quiet. Hospital is for... I listened to what's her name again? Dennis Charles. Check out the previous reaction on Brbptv. That link will be in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. I listened to Dennis Charles speaking about the healthcare and saying, oh, this opposition uses the healthcare and this kind of things there. What else can they use? So if that is what everybody can use, especially if you have the money to fly yourself out, shouldn't we try to aim to push the hospitals to do better? Should we aim for them to do better? And to be more professional? Because instead of unprofessional, it seems to be over there.
But only not easy now.
Humans.
Only really not easy.
Humans not easy.
You mean to tell me this lady's personal business, all you have to be spreading that everywhere?
I think no, she's talking about the word aid. What the word it had to say. But it definitely sounds like some sort of jealousy and malice, man. I'm gonna lie.
Like what kind of people are we? Like really and truly, what kind of people are we? To be hurting the person's family like that? Like why? Why we cannot just let people grieve in peace?
Well, first of all, another thing as well, when you're a public figure, it's a bit different from people who are just normal citizens or normal figures. Being a public figure, you expect to get scrutinized, you expect to get all sorts of... I'm sure you know that too. I'm sure you know that for yourself too. Public figures, they always... When people look at public figures, if you end up in a crash or something, it's all over. I remember when it happened to me, brothers and sisters. And I'm watching people say all kind of things, and when it coming to me, they pretended like they never say nothing, like I didn't see what they were saying on social media. One of the things with my Mr. Leaks family, brothers and sisters, they always linking me up with the details. Who talk about me here, who talk about me over there, and all those kind of things, and sending the evidence for me. I was mingling for a lot of people, brothers and sisters, who talking privately about me. Sometimes I don't even know that. And I'm meeting these people and they have no clue that I know. You don't fear the man that is open his mouth and talking so much, brothers and sisters. You fear the man that knows things about you that you don't know. And it's interesting when it comes down to this situation, when you're a public figure, people always try their best to say bad things and say all sorts of things. There's a particular girl in Houston who says a number of things about me, and I know. I meet her the other day, I walk her and everything. She has no clue. Yeah.
Fernanda do nothing to nobody, right? Nobody. Everywhere you turn, people loved her. Right? Say what you want. Right? Everywhere you turn, people loved her. And for y'all to be doing this?
I think she's talking about sharing the voice note all over the place. But people don't really care. People don't really care. It was somebody that people didn't even know much about. People wouldn't care about, oh, that happened? Oh, okay. People wouldn't care, but because the person's a public figure and something happened and certain people saying that it's like a frightening thing. People like that kind of, drama kind of vibe. So if some people say they want to get it, or they want a little fame and this kind of stupidness there, come and get it now, come and see how nice it is. You see how much people that take in their life? Huh? People have a set of monies and they have a set of things, brothers and sisters, and they take in their life. Come and think, okay, if you don't have a strong heart, look Jill crying there. Because she knows what she I'm sure she feels the same sentiment of people when they say certain things. The nice lady I never really know the lady. Like I used to see her thing, and then see her on some YouTube videos and stuff. And from time to time, I really listen to much of her stuff. But I know that she was, professional in that regard. But these people know her. And they think, how could you do that to her? How can these people do this? Don't you care about her family and this? People don't care. I telling you true, people do not care. When one friend send one to the one friend, they send this to the different, then they sending in things in a group pick it up, group send it to other groups, and it just going like wildfire. When in the public eye, it can be a dangerous road, a dangerous road, brothers and sisters. Anyways, look at that, brothers and sisters. Look at that. So this person that likes to run them off right there, this person right there is saying, calling this person, did that take the lady's life, apparently. Matt in the morning and my boy's kitchen. Not saying nothing about the hospital and the neglect that the lady may have faced in the hospital. You blaming the people for telling people what's going on in the hospital. You blaming the people for the life of, you blaming the different media houses, so to speak, Matt or shows or whatever, Mabot Kitchen and Matt in the morning. You blaming them for exposing what goes on in the hospital that could have been responsible for taking the lady's life, and you blaming them for taking her life. I mean, sometimes the woman was so afraid to go to the hospital, she stayed home and suffer. Could have been because she knew that the hospital is not the best place to be. It's not she alone that would have been stating these things, if that was the case. Other people have stated this before. My family member have stated this before. Well-respected individuals I know have stated this before. Well-respected. Even the very Prime Minister himself say he can sell his families overseas for medical attention. Then asking the people about them. The very Prime Minister of the country that doesn't want to send his people to the hospital in Dominica is overseas. He want to send them. Huh? and then you come in and say it's Matt in the morning and my boy's kitchen that caused that. The neglect that it seems to be taking place in the hospital. Huh? I remember one particular incident of an individual I know in the hospital, making sure she check up different things. I used to visit her, making sure she check up different things. They almost end up giving the lady the wrong medication. But because she was on her P's and Q's and doing research about what she's taking and all those kind of things there, they giving her things she checking, but with her, they're looking different. They apparently almost end up giving her somebody else's thing that could have been detrimental to her health. Mistakes do happen, don't get me wrong. But when it comes down to the healthcare scene, you should try your best to not make mistakes. But even worse is when people don't care. When the people who are working in the hospital do not care. Not only brothers and sisters, some people are feeling defeated because they don't get the necessary things that they need. So when they're trying to get things and it falls on deaf ears, and you come in and say, hey, I need this and that and this and that, and they don't have it in the hospital. They don't have it. Even probably on island, they don't have it. Then that's going to frustrate the nurses and doctors. So don't get me wrong, there are good nurses and doctors in there that are feeling the pain. I know some of them. I had friends who used to work in the hospital, brothers and sisters. They left. Every single one of them left. There's one in America now that's doing her stuff for her to become a nurse again. Every single one of them left because of the treatment, the lack of equipment, the lack of stuff. And then you see Dennis Charles coming and say, oh, we have the best equipment that can be seen all around the world. Really? Who come into Dominica to do surgery? But this fool is saying the same thing that other people are saying, but he's just blaming other people instead of blaming the neglect that apparently seems to have taken place in the hospital. This other individual wrote this thing and said Matt Peltier should sue her. Don't sue her. You cannot sue foolish people, brothers and sisters. People that don't think properly. People that don't think properly, or they're just heavily involved on one side and want to, not whatever that party do, they for it and they blame everything else, brothers and sisters. You cannot help these people. These people are gone. These people are gone. This is a message that I received as well. This person is saying, I tried to send, this person actually not from Dominica from my understanding, this person from overseas. They came to Dominica during the whole quarantine situation, and they just giving their viewpoint on this. I tried sending medical supplies last January to Portsmouth Hospital and a school there, and to a school there. None of them would cover the cost of picking up the barrel. This is what the person is saying right there. I thought, wait, I have to pay on my end for the supplies and still shipping, and you all can cover the pickup price, the price pretty much to clear the barrel. I send barrels paid on both sides and randomly pass the supplies out to the elders and the little ones in backpacks and bags. The individual said, I won't be doing this again. I tried contacting the school, they wouldn't return my calls. The hospital, I just wrote them off. I think Dominica is a beautiful country that is being destroyed by its own citizens. And I agree to a sentiment that is by the citizens. But when the leaders are bamboozling the citizens and giving them false hope because they support them so much, the people constantly been supporting them, I put some blame on the people, true, but I put the main responsibility of those who should know better to do better on the leadership. So yes, it is the people, but also the people supporting the people, keeping them down or destroying their own livelihood. This individual said, I'm a nurse, and during the whole Rona 2021, they made the trip down to Dominica. It was unbelievable how long you had to sit at the airport. The nurses were there just talking while two did testing. Those tests are only good for about 15 minutes. But when you're waiting for things and anyways, the false positives obviously came about. I actually saw when they did the lighting on some of the tests, and there was always a blue line on the thing. So some of these tests were already rigged. The same way where the African individuals did the testing with the tests, and they were testing animals and oils and all kind of things, and then they were renaming this with human names, and they sent it to the individuals, and all of the tests, if not all, but majority of the tests came back positive. And then they exposed them and said none of these tests were tests from human beings. So you know, that was that as well. Anyways, false positives arise. I even offered to help because the people were upset. My plane landed at 4 p.m. and we did not leave until after midnight. That's 8 hours. I am scared to use the hospital there, this individual saying. The medical staff seems bothered. Oh yeah, they seem bothered by asking them to do their own jobs. So it's not just we saying stuff, brothers and sisters, talking about the neglect of the culture of the hospital itself. And this is one of the things that we believe has happened to Ferdina'S right there. She was in recovery mode. I don't think all you understand what I said. Anyways, I am scared to use the hospital. This individual saying the medical staff seem unbothered by asking them to do their jobs. I have self-meditated until it was time to leave. So I guess the person was, you know, in the yoga mood, so to speak, before they left. Right there. Just a total shame. And there is no such a thing as private information. Before you lay your head on the pillow, everyone will know your business right there. As a result of the advent of social media, I know people like JL would be asking like, why are they doing this and all these things, and why are you sharing these things? No matter, you can whip bitter tears because it hurts you. I understand. People still would not care. Next situation that happened is the same thing going to happen. So I think the best thing to have done was to look at the situation and say, hey guys, how can this be prevented and how can we better the care in the hospital? That's what my whole point was for the previous reaction I did on that regard. And it's the same thing for this one as well. Yes, the lady shouldn't have done this, the warden shouldn't have done this, but I'm sure the warden did not think that the voice was going to spread. And then we have Tazi saying the same thing. Your best friend might have a best friend too. Hey, best friend just sharing stuff. Hey, look what my friend told me. Brothers and sisters, we can just hope and pray for the best, but action needs to follow. It's not just talking and saying, hey, okay, this happened. Brothers and sisters, I hope that this teaches us something. I hope this teaches us something so that better can come from it. If the government needs to step up to make sure that the hospitals has the necessary equipments and this kind of things, they need to do this. They need to do this. You don't come and tell the people I can send my family overseas and ask them about them. Which new prime minister? That's that. Anyways, brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts, man? This is just my thoughts on the whole thing right there. Like I said, if I don't think the lady wanted to put this thing out there, expressing herself, seems envious of the very lady, you know, I'm thinking because of her position, and you know, decided to express her feelings to her friend, and the friend shared it and went all over the place right there. So I don't think that was a willful thing done, but you're a medical person, you should at least keep these things on the wrap, you know, or when it comes onto the situation, know who you can trust. Know you can trust, but then again, Tazi said it, your best friend might have a best friend. Anyways, brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts, man? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys, and of course I really want to hear what you guys have to say in that regard right there. Now some of you guys always message me saying things, listen to the full video. If you have not listened to the full video, go back to the start and listen to the whole thing. That's stated right there before you give your comments, please. All right. Anyways, guys, about Mr. Lex on this here Brbptv. Remember, guys, be real. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not done so, guys. Subscribe and turn on that post notifications so you can get all the videos and be notified when I drop my videos right there and then. It's about Mr. Lex once again, guys. Be real, be positive.